All right. Now let's go back to sharing. Sorry about that. Okay, and we'll get started. Okay, so master your metabolism and hack your hormones even during menopause. Before I do that, in case you don't know me, I feel like I know most of the people on here, but I'm 51. I am a mom of 3 and a grandmother of 2. And I have been in the fitness industry for 20 plus years, which is a long time. And my mission, my vision, what I really want to do is I really want to help women love what they see in the mirror through healthy, sustainable habits. And obviously, I want you guys to love what you see in the mirror physically, but also emotionally and spiritually as well. And that's kind of why I put a lot of emphasis also on mindset. Okay, so let's get started. So I hear this a lot where people say, I'm doing the exact same thing, but I'm gaining weight. Or they feel like the things that used to work don't work anymore. I hear that all the time. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm gaining weight. What used to work isn't working anymore. So maybe that is you. Sorry, I had to let someone in. Okay, let me move this, sorry. This is normal. It's part of the aging process because your body is not the same. Your metabolism and your hormones have changed. So it's normal that things are different because as we age, our bodies are not the same. Our hormones are the same. Our metabolisms are not the same. Can you prevent the weight gain? The big question. Wrong direction, my bad.
Right. Well,
Sorry, it's going the wrong way. There we go. Yes, you can. The big question is how? All right, so here's breaking it down. You should have gotten this also in your guide. So have your hormones checked by your doctor. That's number 1. Build muscle. We want hormone balancing nutrition. We want to prioritize sleep, and we want to lower stress. So let's look at everything on its own. So here's why I say have your hormones tested by your doctor. I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I have my hormones checked, and I think it's important as you get older to have your hormones checked and have a conversation with your doctor whom you trust. And together, if there's some places that you might do hormone replacement therapy, then together you and your doctor can make an educated decision. So I will say that first and foremost, get your hormones checked, make an educated decision with your doctor. Okay, let's talk about building muscle and why it's important and why it's more important as we age more than it was when we were younger. So after the age of 30, we naturally lose 3 to 8% of lean mass. Okay, so we lose naturally muscle after the age of 30. That's huge. As I was doing the research, I didn't think it was at the age of 30. I thought it might say 35. So here's the thing, losing muscle naturally lowers your metabolism. That is science. And kind of the reason why I wanted to go into a little bit of this science is because I found that with my own clients, if I can teach them why I have them doing certain things, they're more likely to follow through because it makes sense. So it is science. As you lose muscle, your metabolism decreases. So that's why you might be doing the exact same thing, but you're gaining weight, right? So whether it be your exercise is walking or your exercise is running or whatever it may be, whatever used to work doesn't work anymore because your metabolism is lower. So if you're taking in the same amount of calories and you're exercising the same, but your metabolism is lower due to aging and muscle loss, you will gain weight. It is natural. So you have to make an effort to build muscle and to even keep muscle. So the muscle you had at 30 does not stay unless you make an effort to keep it. Okay. And the same thing with building muscle. This is where I think people miss the boat quite often, is they think that just getting out and exercising is what's going to increase their metabolism. It is not. So building muscle is science. Cardio does not build muscle. Will it build a little bit of muscle? Yes. Does it build enough muscle to increase your metabolism? No. Is cardio good for your heart? Yes. But here's what cardio does when it comes to losing weight. It's if you do more cardio, you're putting yourself at a calorie deficit, which is the same thing as going on a calorie deficit with your diet. So that's what cardio does as far as weight loss. All it does is increase your output. And if you decrease your input, meaning food, you're going to lose weight. But you can't guarantee what kind of weight you're going to lose through cardio. That's why you need to prioritize strength training, and you need to make sure your strength training routine is effective. What do I mean by effective? I mean that you are working big muscle groups, that you're not just going into the gym and working your biceps and your triceps and the areas that you think matter. I have women all the time say, I want my arms to look good. Okay, well, you have to work your back and your chest as well, because those work your arms, your biceps, and your triceps. I will tell you this, if you don't know what you're doing in the area of strength training, whether it be at home or in a gym, I think you guys know me well enough to know that I am not a salesperson and that I stand behind the products I have. And one of the best things you can do for yourself if you don't know what to do is to subscribe to my app. It's $25 a month, and it has every single routine you could possibly want. It's got home, it's got gym, it's got full body, it's got everything, and it tells you exactly what to do so you can take the guesswork out. Does that mean you can't get results without it? No, you can still get results without it. But I have taken the guesswork out, and the workouts that are in there truly can be done from a beginner, because I have lots of beginners on there, or it could be for somebody who is advanced. So there's a whole advanced, and it is truly like the workouts that I do myself and the workouts that my clients do. Again, is that the only way to get results? No, it is not. But if you're questioning, am I doing it correctly, or you feel lost, it is the best money you will ever spend to figure it out without just kind of going in the weight room or picking up some weights at home and randomly doing stuff, because it matters that it's effective. It matters that you work every body part. It matters that you do the exercises correctly. It matters. All of it matters when it comes to that. Okay, I'm done on my rampage. All right. Hormone balancing nutrition. What do I mean by that? Here we go. I want to say this first. Nutrition is science. You will hear me say this all the time. If you want to lose weight, you need to be at a calorie deficit. If you're at a calorie surplus, you are going to gain weight, period, end of story. But what happens is our hormones and our metabolism can affect where a calorie deficit is for us. And that's where we're going to talk about hormones. Okay, so in order to stabilize the hormones and stabilize your metabolism, you want to get enough protein. And here's why. I know that if you follow me at all, you know I am always saying, got to get your carbs, got to get your carbs. Yes, you do have to get your carbs for sure. But there are some people that still don't get enough protein. And it's truly a balance of proteins and carbs, okay? But you have to get enough protein for several reasons. Number one, protein is going to build muscle. So if you are strength training, you need the protein to build the muscle and repair it so that you do increase your metabolism. But here's the other thing you might not know is that protein actually requires 25% more energy than carbs and fats to digest. Okay, so that means that actually protein takes up more energy for your body to digest. So it's actually kind of a little bit more calorie burning than the others. The other thing it does, it keeps hunger at bay. Okay, so carbs are immediate energy. If you have a carb and a protein, your protein takes over when your carbohydrate energy has worn off. So it's going to keep hunger at bay. That's protein. Number two, limit sugars and processed carbs. I preach this all the time, but we're going to get into the actual hormones. It truly affects your hormones. And I will go into that soon, but that is just something to remember. Eating healthy fats. Okay. We'll get into that as well. That's your salmon. That's your nuts. It's your olive oils, eating more fatty foods, fish, sorry, again, salmon, tuna, and consuming more fiber that you get through vegetables and whole grains. And I know you're probably saying, well, duh, like this is what you're supposed to do to lose weight. And you're right. This is what I preach to lose weight, but we'll get into how it actually affects your hormones. Okay, here's some hormone balancing foods: veggies, fruits, whole grains, fatty fish, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, low-fat dairy, olive oil, and lean protein. Is this the end-all be-all list? No, but these are foods that will help balance your hormones. Foods to avoid that will wreck your hormones: junk food, so fast food, potato chips, anything that you buy on that same aisle; refined carbs, so white breads, pastas, crackers, flour, tortillas, biscuits; fried foods, French fries, donuts; sugar sweetened drinks, including alcohol; processed meats, so bacons and sausages; trans fats, so vegetable oils and margarines. They will actually do negative. Not only are these things high in calories, so calorie in, calorie out, but they also affect your hormones. All right, let's talk alcohol. Now, if you've listened to me at all, you know that I do drink alcohol, but I do it in moderation and I do it knowing the effects. So first of all, alcohol is empty calories, meaning if you drink 500 calories in alcohol, you're not going to get 500 calories of energy out of it, right? So it's literally empty calories. So you're putting calories in your body that you get nothing out of. Not only do you get nothing out of, alcohol will slow your metabolism. It will spike your blood sugar. It will disrupt digestion. So the foods that you do get energy from, you're not going to digest them the same. It's going to disrupt sleep, which we will talk about sleep in a little bit. It obviously impairs your judgment. I know for me, if I drink, I'm more likely to eat salty nuts, chips, whatever. And it also lowers your testosterone. Testosterone is the hormone you need, one of the hormones you need for building muscle. So if you're trying to build muscle by lifting weights, but you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you are basically lowering your testosterone. Okay, let's talk about sleep. I want you to aim for 7 to 8 hours. Here's why. Okay, this is the hormone. These are the hormones. It's not important that you know the names of the hormones, but it's important that you understand it is scientifically proven that if you are sleep deprived, you have more ghrelin, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, which triggers your hunger. You have less leptin, which leptin is what makes you feel full. Insulin which is linked to high blood sugar and obesity, okay, makes you put on body fat. It decreases your insulin resistance. And then endocannabinoids, your perception of food seems more pleasurable. Okay, so these are actual hormones that are triggered in some way negatively that actually affects your hunger, your feeling, your ability to feel full, your blood sugar, and your perception of how food tastes. Now, let's just talk about when you are tired. I know when I'm tired, I'm less likely to make good decisions because my ability to give a shit is kind of gone. So take all those hormones, but then take how you feel, and you're like, I don't really care. I'm tired. I don't care. Have no patience. I'm eating. So add all that to it. Okay, let's talk about lowering your stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone. We hear that thrown around all the time, but I want you to know what it truly does. So our body, we were created for fight or flight. So back when we were, running around and running from animals, cortisol saved our lives because it literally puts your body into action, flight or flight, fight or flight. Well, we no longer need to run from danger. However, we still have cortisol in our body. So when we are stressed out or angry, or, you know, that feeling of like your stomach, that's a cortisol dump. Okay. Stress that you feel is a cortisol dump. And here's what it does. It pauses regular bodily functions, including your metabolism. Okay, so think about that. If you're trying to run from something for safety reason, you need your bodily functions to stop so that you can fight or flight.
Why?
It increases your appetite. It can lead your body to produce less testosterone. We've already talked about what testosterone does.
Mommy's on a call right now.
It can cause cravings for sweet, fatty, and salty foods. And it can cause weight gain specifically in the abdominal area. So cortisol literally
Make
does.
a house. Make a house.
Hey, Tanya, will you?
Make a house.
There we go. Okay, so again, I'm going to talk about hormones. You do not need to memorize these. All I really want you to understand is you are going to see a pattern. So I did the research for you. This is science. Just see the pattern. Okay, insulin resistance. If you are insulin resistant, you have high blood sugar and weight gain. How can you fix insulin resistance? Through exercise, through sleep, omega-3 fatty acids, which is salmon or in supplements, healthy fats, which is your avocado, your nuts, your olive oils, your avocado oils, low glycemic, high fiber carbs, vegetables, and limit your sugar and refined carbs. That will keep you from being insulin resistant. Okay, leptin, we already talked about that. It signals that you're full. If you get sleep, you will have more leptin. If you don't have enough sleep, your leptin is decreased. Ghrelin, we've already talked about this too. It signals that your stomach is empty. Again, you want to sleep and eat regularly so that your stomach knows, or so that the ghrelin, when you don't sleep and you don't eat regularly, that's when the ghrelin is not there to say, hey, or it's increased. So you're like, I'm empty, when it's really not. You get the point. Cortisol, we talked about that. High blood sugar and weight gain. How do we get rid of cortisol? Well, exercise, because exercise can be a stress reducer. Sleep, we're less stressed when we get our sleep. Mindfulness and mindset work, whether that's like doing mindset work, the type that I do, combined with prayer, yoga, whatever, having balanced whole food diet, low in sugar, refined grains, and saturated fats. Estrogen. So low levels affect body weight and body fat in your belly. So one of the things we talked about was get it checked by your doctor, because your doctor can do something about it. But the way that you can do something about it besides what the doctor can is exercise, reducing red meat, reducing processed food, sugars, and refined grains. NPY, I couldn't even pronounce it. It stimulates the appetite and lowers your energy expenditure. So in other words, all of a sudden you're hungry and your energy level is low. How do we reduce that? Exercise and a low fat, low sugar diet. GLP-1, it regulates your blood sugar level and makes you feel full. How do we regulate that? Get enough protein, consider probiotics, get your healthy fats. CCK, it has to do with energy production, protein synthesis, and leptin. Get enough protein and exercise. PYY, it decreases your appetite. How do you get more of that? Well-rounded diet with enough protein and exercise. So I think you're seeing probably a pattern here of getting sleep, getting the right amount of protein, staying away from processed foods, sugars, getting the right healthy fats, and putting on muscle. All right. I cannot do this presentation without talking about this. So I am just going to go through a couple of things because I truly believe mindset matters most. You can be on every single one of these calls. You can get the app. You can do my mindset course. You can be my client. You could be in just my Facebook group, and I can give you all the things of what you should do. But if you don't work on your mindset, you won't get the same benefit, because your mindset truly matters. Because here you are, and I'm the same way. You get all this information and you know what to do, but you don't do it. So I just want to go over a few mindset things, my favorites. Okay, so I want you to think about your fitness journey as a plant. Okay, you have to plant the seed first and foremost, right? So you have to make the step. You have to make a choice. You have to decide, okay, this is what I want. You got to buy the seed. You got to plant it. Okay, then you have to water the seed, right? You've got to do all the things. You've got to work on your nutrition. You got to work on your exercise, start doing more weightlifting, and then you got to put it in the sunlight, right? So you have control over how much water you put in it, but do you have control over the sunlight? Not always, right? You can put the plant in the sunlight, but what if you have a bunch of days where there's no sunlight? You did not have control of that. And that is life. Remember, life is a journey. So there's going to be days where you don't have sunlight and you can't do what you normally can do. But that is part of the journey. Just like the plant doesn't always have sunlight. You're not always going to have the best days. And there's going to be times in your life where you can't do all that you want to do, but it's okay. It doesn't mean you quit. So you have to be patient, and you just have to wait for that growth. And I say this all the time. If you were to keep watching a plant, if you took a picture of the plant and then you took a picture of it in 6 months or whatever kind of plant it is, you'd be like, dang, that grew. Same thing with our kids. You take a picture of your kids the first day of school and you think, well, they didn't grow very tall. And then you take a picture at the last day and you're like, oh my gosh, well, it did happen. And that's kind of what we do on our own journey, is we're watching ourselves so much, we don't see it, but it happens. Okay. Progress over perfection. I know I gave you a ton of information, and you probably, if I were you, because I do this with my business coach, when they give me a lot of information, I feel overwhelmed. Like, how am I going to do it all? But I'm telling you, you got to quit expecting perfection, because it will never happen. And all you need to look for is progress, because good is good enough. Because if you wait for something to be perfect, if you wait for the exact right time, I mean, I have so many people say, well, I'll get started after my vacation, or I'll get started after the kids go back to school. You're going to wait forever. It's never going to be a perfect time. So if you can make small improvements, they add up and they matter. So if you can remember that progress is truly where it's at, because perfection will never, ever, ever happen. And expecting it makes you quit and frustrated and everything else. Okay. Now, here's my kind of push you. Choose your heart. Like, you can sit here and you can say, well, I'm stressed out. I can't help it. My life is stressful, or I can't get sleep because my child wakes me up, or, for whatever reason, my mind won't stop. I can't do it. I have to do this. I have to do that. Don't stop making excuses, right? Choose your heart. Working out, eating right, doing these habits are hard. Yes, it is hard, but so is being uncomfortable in your skin, right? It's also hard to look in the mirror and say, I don't like what I see. I don't want to go to family events. I don't want to do this. I don't want to that. So choose your heart and stop looking for easy. So find a way. If you think of anything in your life, so I'm just going to throw out there your career. Let's say you went to college. Was it easy? No. Was studying easy? No. But did you do it? Yes. So that's the same thing with fitness. There's hard things, but choose your heart. Which heart do you want? The heart of eating right and exercising, or the heart of waking up daily and being uncomfortable with where you are in your fitness journey and your health? Okay. So decision, action, discipline, action, results, motivation. Everybody says, not everybody. However, I see lots of things when people join my group. What are you looking for? What do you need? I need motivation. Okay. great. I can motivate, but I'm not going to be there for you 24/7. And there's days that I don't feel motivated, but you do it anyways. If you wait, I know you hear that. If you wait for motivation, you're going to be waiting forever. But I see this. People are really, really motivated at the beginning, and then the motivation goes away and people stop. Stop waiting for the motivation. Make a decision that you're going to change this. Take the action, whatever that action may be, whether it be reaching out to me, whether it be doing the app, whether it be joining a gym, whether it be a nutrition aspect of it, whatever it may be. Make a decision, take action, then be disciplined about it and keep taking the action, keep being disciplined, keep being action, keep discipline, action. When you get to the point where you've been so disciplined with your actions and habits that you see results, that's when you're going to have motivation, because you're not going to want to lose it. Okay, so stop waiting for the motivation and be disciplined. The other thing is, as you keep taking those disciplined actions, guess what happens? They become habit and you don't think about them anymore. And I know I've been in the fitness industry for a really, really long time. So I have so many habits built up that I don't have to think about it anymore. Like, I don't have to think about if I'm going to the gym. I don't have to think if I'm going to eat right. I just do it. Okay. And the more you do it, the less uncomfortable you are doing it. Just from like a perspective of like because probably where I do the most mindset work now is my business. And at the beginning, I hated posting on Facebook because I was like, this is so uncomfortable. Why do I have to do this? I don't want to do it. People are going to think this, people are going to think that. You know what I do now? I literally wake up. I don't think about it. I come up with a post, I hit post, and I don't look at it again because I've done it so many times that it's a habit, and I don't even think about what anybody's going to think anymore. I just do it. So it can, and I can look back and I'd be like, okay, my posts aren't always that great, but the fact that I do them every day means that, like, okay, I've established a habit. Let's move on and make a new one. Okay. Always, always, always measure the gain. What do I mean by that? Some of you have heard it. I know Tanya has, because we talk about it all the time. Measure the gain. Stop measuring yourself against other people, because number one, we all know, we all know you should not measure yourself against anybody else, because you're going to find somebody that's in better shape than you. You're going to find somebody that's in worse shape than you. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't freaking matter where anybody else is. But here's the other thing. Stop measuring how far you think you need to go and where you want to go, and start measuring how far you've come. If you can keep focused on, did I get better this week than I was last week? And if you did, not meaning did the scale change? Did my body change? Did I lose weight? But did I get better with my habits? That's the most important thing, is to find the gain in the positive habits you have created. Okay, I posted this the other day. The time it takes to get there is irrelevant once you get there. Okay, so stop worrying about how long it's going to take and just start moving forward, because it does. Once you start reaching those goals, you're not going to be upset how long it takes. It's like a road trip. You might sit there while you're driving and be like, oh, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? But once you get to your destination, not that fitness is a destination, but once you get there, you're so happy you're there that you're not like, oh, I hated how long it took me. You're beyond that. So think about that when it comes to when you get overwhelmed with how long it's going to take. And my last thing is, remember, see your doctor first, see what hormones you might need replacement, build muscle, because that's going to increase your metabolism. Remember the hormone balancing nutrition, prioritize your sleep, and lower your stress. Those are the 5 things you have control over. You have control over seeing the doctor. You have control over building muscle, changing your nutrition, prioritizing your sleep, and lowering your stress. I'm just going to talk about sleep real quick, because I hear lots of women say, whatever reason, they have sleep issues. I understand. I'm not saying that if you're a 6-hour sleep person, go to 8. But there are things you can do to prioritize your sleep, whether it's turning off your phone, or turning off the TV or reading a book or praying or meditating or whatever it may be, find a way, right? We're all smart enough. You can Google anything and figure out how to do it. Okay, my favorite quote: success is neither magical nor mysterious. It's the natural consequence of constantly applying the basic fundamentals. I gave you the basic fundamentals, and I am right there with you and hoping and wishing there's some magic you're missing. Like, I'm just missing a supplement, or I'm just missing some food or some tweak to my diet or some new whatever. It's not it. Like, can you make some changes? Yes, but nothing, including going to the doctor and then putting you on some kind of hormone replacement therapy. That's still not going to be the magic pill. You still are going to have to put on muscle. You're still going to have to get your sleep, work on your stress, and change your diet. So stop looking for magic. There's no mystery. It's truly applying the basic fundamentals day in and day out. Whew. How long did I talk? Okay, 30 minutes, not too bad. All right. Does anybody have any questions, comments? I'm here to answer anything that you want to ask, or even comments. Was there something that what hit? Like, I would love to hear, if nobody has, first of all, I'd love to hear questions. Second of all, I would love to hear if anybody learned something that they didn't know, or something kind of like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to sit here and stare at y'all until somebody does.
I have a question.
Okay,
Can
great.
you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, great. I have been eating incredibly healthy. You don't know how bad I used to eat, so that's been awesome, except I sometimes hate it, but I still do it. And I eat a lot of protein, but I'm always questioning how much I need. You know, I don't know that there's an easy formula, and I'm sure it depends on every person's different and all that, but is there a way for me to kind of start learning what I actually need?
Yes, that
and
is
carbs too.
Super question. Okay. So for one thing, I do, like, I'm not promoting myself. I do provide that service.
Okay.
I do it like either if you do the nutrition course, it's included in the nutrition course, but it's on my website. And what I do is I ask all these questions, everything from how old are you? How much do you weigh? How tall are you? What is your day like? What is your exercise like? If you know your body fat. And then I have access to two kind of calculators. I put it into both and I make sure that they agree, and then I send it to you. But with that being said, I will always say, when it comes to weight loss, calories are king, right? Like, calories are king. Macros come into a tied second with macros and eating processed foods. I typically tell people I personally put people on a 40% carbohydrate, 30% protein, and 30% fat.
Okay.
However, I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that has to be perfect. I think it needs to be balanced, meaning that it's okay if you're like, well, I would rather do 40 protein, 30 carbs, and 30 fat. Okay. What I don't want fats higher than 30%.
Right.
At all, because then you're getting into the point where you're not going to feel like you have a lot of food because everything's so high in fat. Like, you're going to feel like that's all I get. So I don't ever want fat to go over 30, but I'm okay with the carbs and proteins kind of whatever, like 30, 35, 40, whatever. I'm fine with that. And what I usually tell people is to pick one, either just go for it, no big deal. But if you're doing My Fitness Pal, I tell people, pick one, follow it for a while, see how you feel, see how your workouts feel, and then flip it, do a little bit more carb or protein, whatever,
Right.
and see how you feel. Because I personally found what I did, my own type of thing was, when pre-COVID, I was like, I don't think I'm going to do another show, like a fitness show. So I hired a coach. And he looked at me and he was like, you're way too thin. You don't have enough muscle. Like you're too, basically what they call stringy. And I was like, so he had me like, and I paid him lots of money for this because I was like, okay, I'll do what you say. He put me on more calories for one, less cardio for another, because he was like, you're not putting on muscle. Like you're working hard, but you're not putting on muscle because you're doing way too much cardio. You're not eating enough food. So I was at way too much of a calorie deficit. And the kicker, I was eating so much more protein than carbs that my workouts were suffering. When I increased my carbs, and this is not necessarily for everybody, I felt so much better. I was less bitchy. Imagine that. I mean, I'm still kind of bitchy, but I was less bitchy, and I just felt better, and I put on muscle, and my workouts were better. Here's the other thing I did when I started measuring my proteins, because I assumed that like I knew I was getting a lot more grams of protein in a piece of meat than I realized. So, and then I was like, well, I'm not hungry. So I would eat all the protein and I wouldn't finish my carbs. So,
That's
but
good.
for anybody that just doesn't want to measure and just kind of wants to just kind of go for it, what I would say, because I wrote this out, because I'm glad you asked that, is try, if you do 3 meals a day, try each meal to get minimum of 25 grams of protein per meal. That'll get you to 75 grams. And that's minimum. I would say that if you're doing like 3 meals and a snack, 25, 25, 25, 25, that'll get you 100.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great
Thanks.
question. I'm glad you asked that, because like literally I had it written down and I didn't cover that.
Very good.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Do you eat for your blood type, or just eat what you think is right for your carbs and proteins and such?
Yeah, I don't eat for my blood type at all. I mean, I haven't done a ton of research on it. I just find that when I eat like non-processed whole foods, I feel better than I ever did in my 30s. So there's just lots of, there's lots of stuff out there, you know, I mean, I don't know. There's lots of people that'll tell you that they started eating for their blood type, but I feel like lots of things like keep you, like whether it's for your blood type or intermittent fasting, or whatever it may be, what that causes people to do anytime they choose a program, it causes you to be more mindful of what you put in your mouth. That's why you feel better. That's why you lose weight, is because you are more mindful of what you're doing, as opposed to just, I'm just going to eat. So.
All right, that's good. I've also enjoyed you talking about habits. And so I picked up some new habits, and also adding more weight training, because I was kind of the one to get on my Peloton and go and think that's all I needed. So I've added the weight training. So I appreciate that.
Good.
Learning that for me.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, and you know, if you think about it, like you can just look at people and kind of not according, and I'm not saying look at people by like judging them on whether you like their body or not at all. I'm saying you can look at people who have muscle and be like, they lift weights. They're not out running. They're not out running. They're not doing spin classes. They're not doing like aerobics over and over and over again. They're lifting weights. It's called bodybuilding for a reason. I hate that word, but it's called bodybuilding for a reason, because you're literally trying to build muscle on your body. And the only way and the most effective way to do it is to actually like have a plan, you know, to work your back, work your chest, work all that, work every single muscle group, work your legs. So
that's my new goal. So thank you for that. I'm going to seg from, you know, the cardio to more muscle weight training.
And what are you following for your weight training?
Well, I have the Peloton app, and they have a lot of different classes classes that are instructor led,
Okay.
depending on lower body, upper body, biceps, triceps, back, all of that. So I have that app, and I'm going to use that more now, and core and things like that. I've been just using it for the bike. So I'm
Yeah.
out of breath. I'm out walking,
Yeah.
killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah. Perfect.
So I just have been using it for the cardio aspect, but
Good.
now I'm starting to do a little bit less cardio and now I'm moving more into
Yeah, and
weights.
one of the things that you want to be cognizant of when you're lifting weights is to truly build the muscle. You want to be struggling at about rep 10, 11, 12. If what you're doing, so like, here's I don't know enough about the Peloton weight training, but I do know enough I know, like, when I watch people take weight training classes at the gym, I'm like, you're doing 50 reps. Like, that's cardio. That is not weight training. That is not, like, will it put on a little bit of muscle? Yes. But is it going to put on enough muscle to increase your metabolism for what people want? It's not. It's not going to do it. So you have to your program has to be the type that, and it might mean that you have to buy heavier weights or whatever, but you should be struggling to get rep 12. And if you're not, and you can get 20 reps, you're not building, you're going to build a little bit of muscle, and then it's the same thing as the cardio. Then you're going to kind of peak out and nothing's going to change.
Yes,
So,
I remember. Thank you for that video, because you did that on your video.
Yes.
And shared that. So
good.
I appreciate that. And that's what I have been, instead
Good.
of doing, say,
Perfect.
8 or 10, do 12 or 15.
Yes. And just make sure too, like, it's a balance. This is for everybody. It's a balance. You do not obviously want to hurt yourself. If you can keep your form and increase the weight, by all means do it. You will not get too big. It is impossible. I wish I would get too big, and I'm not too big. I mean, in my mind, there's might be plenty of people that are like, those muscles look weird. Okay. But it's very difficult for women to put on weight. And when people tell me, I'll have people tell me, well, I put on weight really easily, so I don't want my legs to get too big. It is not muscle that is making your legs big. No offense. It's not muscle. Because if you go get your body fat tested, you'll find out you have more body fat than you do muscle. Because as women, and especially as we get older, there's no such thing as you can put on muscle easy, especially if you're not lifting heavy. It just doesn't happen. So
I'm just going to make a plug. Tracy doesn't pay me for this, but I love the app. It is the best money that I spend on my routine for fitness. I spent $300 a month at Orange Theory for years, and now I'm doing the $25 or whatever it is a month for the app. And I've been in the gym for 20 years, and I still feel what do you call it? The next day after doing the workouts that Tracy has in there, they're really great, and the recipes are fun to go through. So if you don't have the app, I truly
who's talking? I
recommend
can't
it.
even see because you're not.
It's Tara.
Oh, hi, thank you.
Anyway.
I was going to say the same thing about the app, because I recently joined it, and I enjoy it, and it's so full of information, and it's been very, very, very helpful for me, because I was just winging it. I was on Pinterest looking for exercises to do to lose my back fat.
Right.
And then I'd write them down. I'd be like, okay, I'll try this. And,
I'm so glad
Yes.
you said that, because that's like my heart is like in the right spot of like saying, like, I'm not trying to bash any kind of program at all, but I hate when I see women doing the wrong thing. And I'm like, you're putting in so much effort, and then you're frustrated because you're not getting results, because you're not educated on what you should be doing. And it kills me. It absolutely kills me. And that's why I try to say over and over again, make sure it's effective, because like you said, you can look it up, or you can do the app, and it's like all there for you. Boom, 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 and done. And you don't have to worry if what you're doing is right or wrong, because it's all laid out for you.
Yep.
So, while I have some of you guys on here, so I'm just going to throw it out there because I need to, because here's what I've been thinking about doing with the app is I've been thinking about, one of the things I want to do is, and y'all tell me if you would like be honest, is creating a Facebook group just for app users, where we would do challenges through the apps as well as mindset work. Like
I love it.
we would do like literal mindset teaching. I'm thinking maybe a challenge after school starts, because everybody's got, I don't know why. Like, even if you don't have kids school age, there's something about August that's like, teachers and everything like that. But maybe even doing a challenge based on what we did today, like a challenge, not a challenge. Sorry, I hate challenges. A kickstart of like, okay, here's lists of food. Let's talk about setting your goals. Let's talk about mindset and kind of getting everybody started. What do y'all think?
I think it's
Sounds
a great
cool.
idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I mean, I think having that and running like kickstarts on doing different programs, maybe like I said, start with a kickstart on metabolism and hormones, and once that runs its course, then start like, okay, we're starting mindset. And like, some of you that are on here have done the mindset work, have done it like the actual course, but doing it as a group and kind of teaching it to everybody that's on the app.
Cool.
So that's my thought. We'll see.
I like it.
Okay, cool. Anybody else have any other questions for me?
I do. So I'm like day 3, which was a big fail, but I'm day 3 with Tracy. I know. I haven't started my mindset work.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I'm still in that bad frame of mind, but I did not know if we do like a Facebook group, and this may be, y'all can like boo me if you want, but I don't know if anybody would be interested in having like workout partners. I know that I have every rationalization and excuse in the world with 3 kids and 2 dogs and a job, all these things. And I find I often do better when I have someone else holding me accountable, or I have to meet somebody at the gym, or I have to meet somebody on Facebook or something. So if anybody is interested in doing something like that, I would definitely be open, or maybe do a Facebook Live.
I think
if you do a Facebook Live, Tracy, we'll work on your potential there with your
But I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had thought about that too, is like, even in like people come up, like match up with accountability partners.
right. So just hold
I
me
think that's
accountable,
good.
even with food.
Yes.
I mean, or someone to say, don't eat the Oreo.
Yes.
Or
Or
don't drink a third drink. There's no reason to drink a third drink at 2 a.m., right?
Or even sharing like your wins with people. Like, I think that's important, to be able to have a cheerleader that says, awesome. Like, this is what I did. I didn't want to, but this is what I did. And I followed through. I mean, I think that's important. So I wrote that down because I think that would be great to like within the group, like, just kind of, you could almost post like, I want an accountability partner, blah, 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 and then find it on there.
Yeah. And then the other thing too, that's been a little difficult for me is thinking that my wins aren't big enough. And I'm working through that mindset piece.
Yes.
Because you asked for wins, and I'm like, well, I made dinner last night. It was like a big win, but everyone had great wins. So I think somehow if that could be a reminder, a constant reminder somehow.
We'll get to that part.
Any win is big, right?
You'll get to that part in the mindset. You haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay, I'm not there yet. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so if anybody wants a workout partner, I'm happy to.
Wins are important.
And sweat.
Super important.
Tracy, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a question. This is Dawn.
Yes.
Do you have any like group training classes, or do you just do individuals? Like, I think it would be fun to, as a group, even, a small group of maybe us, menopausal ladies or whatever, that are having same
that's
struggles.
pretty much what I do now. Is everything is group now. I only have one session during the week that's an individual, and it's because it's a man that I get rid of. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Sort of. But all my stuff now is group training. So like I don't do more than 3 people at a time, but that's exactly what I do is I do 3 women. And there's going to be more openings come August whenever I'm going to put more sessions in there. But yes, I do that. I'll put you down.
Yeah.
We'll get in contact because I have some people that are ready to start.
Okay.
But that, yeah, I do. That's what I do. And you know, it's funny because I started out doing one-on-one, and then once I started putting people together, there's something about the bond that those people have that it, like, even if it's literally a 50-year-old and a 40-year-old, which that's not that big of a age difference, there's always a bond with the people.
Right. Yeah, I would imagine those 3 would be close, and they could
Yes.
even become accountability partners with each
Exactly.
other. And yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would be interested in that.
But yeah, I've got you down. I'll definitely reach out to you because, like I said, I'm about to add some time.
Yeah. Where do you go for the trainings?
It's at Get Fit in Colleyville.
Okay.
Are you familiar with where that is?
I can look it up. I don't know exactly.
Okay. It's kind of in the same parking lot as Next and the Thai place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very good. Any other questions? Well, I absolutely appreciate you guys being on here and taking the time. And as we're talking about wins, this would be a win that you spent your time doing this.
Yay, I'm gonna put it in the
Thank
chat
you.
tomorrow.
Exactly. Well, good.
Thank
If
you.
anybody, you'll get this recording tomorrow probably. And then the other thing that I will do is I'll let you guys, those of you that are on the app, let you know like when we'll start like a challenge. Like I said, we'll all, like some of the foods that we put on there, I'll have food lists and kind of help you set your goals and where you should be, like how many days you're going to work out, what they're going to be, that sort of thing. We'll get started like that.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
See if I can.
I have no clue. I'm serious. I'd be here all night.
I'm trying to figure out how to like.
Oh, leave.
Chat so I know who was here. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, you. Thank you. I'll be talking to you soon. I have lots of other questions.
Okay, good. Let me know.
All right, bye.
Let me know. Bye.